rolling. And we're good. All right, so we're on YouTube as well. So just curious, so defensive. Sorry, Attorney John. That's the world we live in, baby. I am Walter Passequita. I am a longtime sports talk host here in San Antonio, Texas, turned food truck operator. And now I do a little show weekdays on this channel. So tune in. You can catch me on YouTube as well. SA Radio Boy Productions is the channel. So go visit that, like it, subscribe, and then you can watch all the shows. You can tweet the show as well. Take part in the poll question of the day. Who comes out of the West? Will it be the Clippers? Will it be the Rockets? Will it be Denver? Will it be, who did I miss? The Lakers? Lakers, Clippers, Rockets, Denver. A big matchup tonight, so we'll take a look at that. And so who comes out of the West? Vote early, vote often on Twitter at SA Radio Boy. Our opening segment is brought to you by Wallys Deli Food Truck, one of the higher rated food trucks in all of San Antonio. I don't make this stuff up. If you're looking to bring a food truck to your business complex, if you're having an event, a car show, a carnival, contact me at saradioboy@gmail.com. With that being said, let me just share this information with you. We have all the information now on the Villages of West Creek Festival coming up. And the flyer I'll put the flyer up this week. But there you go. You can read that there. You can see that good enough. Okay, there's that. You guys get to see it. You guys get to see it as well. Okay, March 14th, that's next weekend, and everybody on YouTube gets to see it as well. There you go. So next weekend, from 4 to 11, they got a movie, they got music. They'll have a bunch of food trucks, about 6 food trucks there, so come on out. If you've always wanted to get a sandwich at Wally's Food Truck, this is the time to do that. Next Saturday, Villages of West Creek. It's about a mile or so outside of 1604. Come on out and enjoy yourself on next Saturday. There you go. All right, topic number 1. San Antonio Spurs. No one knows for sure, obviously, who will be the next head coach of the San Antonio Spurs. Was Greg Popovich going to go and be the coach next season? Who knows? After Team USA, maybe he retires. Nobody knows. He's not signed. He's got a 1-year contract. Nobody would be shocked if it goes either way. So, but the real question here is who's going to be on the roster next season? And when you look up and down the roster and you think big changes are coming for the San Antonio Spurs, don't hold your breath, folks. Here's the lowdown. LA is here. LaMarcus Aldridge will be here next year unless, of course, he's traded. That'll be a hard contract to move. I wouldn't expect that. He'll be an unrestricted free agent in 21. So if he does get moved, it'll probably be at some point next season to get rid of that contract, and that might help out a team. So you can see where he might get moved, but he will be more than likely on the opening day roster next season. Marco Bellinelli is an unrestricted free agent in this offseason. Only way he comes back, in my opinion, is if he becomes a coach. An assistant coach for the Spurs. I can't see Marco Bellinelli coming back to this team. He's not making a lot of money, mind you, and we'll get to the money in just a second, but I don't see where it makes sense for him to come back. You might as well put a young player in there because this team is miles away from an NBA championship. DeRozan has a player option at $27 million in the offseason. It's hard for me to believe that he would leave all of that money on the table. There is no way that DeMar DeRozan is going to get $27 million in a contract at any point in a new deal with any team. They'd be absolutely nuts to give him $27 million. Not that he's not a very good player, but he's not a great player at this point. He's not worth $27 million. But he'll get every penny of that next season. I think he ends up staying with the Spurs. So you got LA still here. You got DeRozan still here. Your 2 best players. And the biggest problem that the Spurs have is their 2 best players don't shoot threes. Drew Eubanks, in case you care, is a restricted free agent in the offseason. It doesn't matter whether he stays or goes. Bryn Forbes is an unrestricted free agent. You want to keep him? Here's the question with Bryn Forbes. He's 53rd currently in three-point percentage in the league. He's tied with Patty with 2.4 threes made per game. Nothing great there either. There's 11 players, though, only 11, that are over 3 three-pointers made per game. So Bryn Forbes, as we all know, is not a very good defender. He's not terrible. You've seen him make some plays here of late. He's not a terrible defender. Let's give him some credit. He's an average defender. He's not good. He's not very good. He's not great. He's okay. He's an okay defender. But he's a better three-point shooter than he is a defender. And so, Bryn Forbes has value. But again, when your two best players aren't three-point shooters, it really kind of puts a spotlight on Bryn Forbes. I don't know if he comes back or not. I would not be shocked if he does come back. And we'll get into the money in just a little bit. We'll tell you, he's actually, well, let's do it now. Forbes is making currently $3 million. So he's cheap. Will he get a contract in the offseason? Yeah, probably. Maybe he gets 3 years, $12 million, 3 years, $10 million, something along those lines. I think you would keep Bryn Forbes if you get a 3-year, $10 million contract. He's better than Marco Bellinelli. You churn the bottom of the roster and go on from there. Rudy Gay will be back next season. He's an unrestricted free agent in 2021, so Rudy Gay is going nowhere. So you got Rudy Gay, you got Bryn Forbes, who probably stays, you got DeRozan, who probably stays, and you got LA, who's going to be here. That's giving you a little sign here. Keldon Johnson will be here. Trey Lyles is unrestricted free agent in 21, so those two guys will be here. Chimezi's a restricted free agent in 21, so he's coming back. Patty has another year to go. He'll be back. DeJounte is a free agent in 24. He's going nowhere. Jakob is a restricted free agent this offseason. I don't know why you would want to get rid of Jakob Poeltl. He's done a good job. He's a good defender. I don't think he's a... he's not your frontline player. He's not your starter. He'd be a good backup. You could, and that's pretty much what he does. So I think for the money, and Jakob gets $3.7 million, I think he's pretty much a bargain at that price. So I don't think Jakob, I don't know if Jakob's going to get a huge contract from anybody. Somebody going to pay him more than $3.7 million? Not unless somebody blows him away with like a 4-year deal. I don't see that happening. Derek White is a restricted free agent in 21. He's going nowhere. Quinndary is a restricted free agent this offseason. I don't think anybody would, hold their breath if he goes or he stays. Lonnie Walker, Luka Samanic are all under the Spurs' control. So, to summarize, you have Bellinelli maybe off the books at $6 million. DeRozan at $27, but I think he stays. Forbes is making $3 million. Jakob making $3.7. So here's the point. Unless DeRozan opts out of the $27 million deal, the Spurs have little room for change in 2021. That's all there is to it. So get used to this group, because they ain't going away. Not yet. You got another year left with this group. Maybe the Spurs make some subtle changes. And listen, a subtle change could have been, Marcus Morris. A subtle change would have been a player like Davis Bertans, who's in the top 5 in the league in three-point shooting. Those would be welcome additions. But good luck finding them. And if one team, though, can find them, it'll be the San Antonio Spurs. All right, topic 2. The Rockets entertain the Clippers tonight. Houston is 2 back in the loss column. But here's the point here. Even if the Rockets beat the LA Clippers tonight, certainly anything's possible. Houston at home. Would you really pick them against the Clippers in a playoff series? Yeah, I wouldn't either. I mean, does anybody believe in the Houston Rockets other than the players themselves? And you would expect that. But I don't believe in them. Nobody thinks that that this system is going to bring them to the NBA Finals and win a championship. Nobody believes that. Not at this point. Go beat somebody in a playoff series. Go get to the conference finals and see what happens. But I don't care what the Rockets do tonight against the Clippers. Yes, it's entertaining. Does it give you any clues into who's going to come out of the West? I'm not sure about that. We'll see. The other interesting game tonight, obviously, is the return of Steph Curry for the Golden State Warriors at home against Toronto. Golden State obviously cannot make the playoffs in the West, but it's always fun to have Steph Curry back on an NBA court, so that's worth tuning in for, no question. All right, topic number 3, the dumbass of the day. I got 2 of them today. Tito Vodka had to come out and tell folks that their product isn't strong enough to make hand sanitizer out of it. Apparently, it has to be at a 60% alcohol content to become hand sanitizer. I think it's at 40%. But here's the point. Why would anybody waste good alcohol? Why would you do that? Why would you waste good Tito's vodka to try to make hand sanitizer? Go get some hand sanitizer. Jeez, it's ridiculous. But today's winner is anyone who listens, anyone who pays attention, anyone who gets upset with anything that Richard Jefferson says. You are just a dumbass. People were posting this stuff. I saw it yesterday, and in fact, I watched it live yesterday on Get Up. And it's Richard Jefferson just being Richard Jefferson. Richard Jefferson is almost like he's a needle in the Spurs fan side. That's all there is to it. And so he's a little like Shaq. You know, and he's a little like Charles Barkley, too. More like Charles Barkley. Because Charles Barkley is, you know, mean-spirited a little bit with the fat San Antonio chick stuff. So, that's the way I view Richard Jefferson. You can't take anything he says seriously, and if you do, you're just a dumbass because you're just not paying attention. Richard Jefferson says all kinds of stupid shit, and if you pay attention to it, you're just an idiot. Richard Jefferson just says stuff to say stuff, to get a reaction out of you. And people go crazy, and then they post stuff about it. And then media people in San Antonio will post it and get your reaction to it. And you react to it. And that's why you are a dumbass. Okay, there's that. Topic 4, and the final one of the day. I saw an article written in the last couple of days that Becky Hammon is a better option than Tim Duncan as the new head coach of the Spurs at some point because Becky is better at handling the media. And I thought, are you fucking kidding me? Breaking news. You don't have to handle the media in San Antonio. The Spurs handle the media for you. That's the point. The Spurs, when a player or a coach or anybody comes to the San Antonio Spurs, there's no question about the media. They don't have to ask questions about, how tough is the media here? Because first of all, it's not tough. Second of all, if there's anything that's bothersome, the Spurs take care of it and brush it under the rug, and it's done. If there's wiener pitches out there, if there's a DWI, if there's any of that kind of stuff, it might be a topic for a day, and then it's gone. It's gone. It disappears. It's gone. There's no headache for the media, for Spurs personnel here in San Antonio. It never is. Never has been. So to think that Becky Hammon would be a better option because she can handle the media better is just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's just clickbait. It really has no basis of factual information whatsoever. It's silly, and don't bother reading it because it doesn't make any sense. That's the show. Very nice. Appreciate you joining me today. As always, we finish up with the show with this. If you or someone you know is having thoughts about suicide, talking about suicide, mentioning about suicide, give them the suicide hotline number, the national hotline number, 1-800-273-8255, 1-800-273-8255. Maybe we can save a life today. That'll do it. That'll do it for episode 14. We'll have a brand new episode tomorrow, right here on Wallys 15 at 5. Have a good night, everybody. Enjoy the NBA basketball, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.